I'd like to be Pope, 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 Pope.
Donald Trump's MAGA movement is trying to influence the election of the next Pope.
We're looking at a fight for the soul of the Catholic Church, I think.
It's between deeply conservative American Catholics who had a problem with Pope Francis and those more liberal forces inside the Vatican who liked his approach.
Behind the scenes, it's been a very tough and vicious fight.
MAGA players like Steve Bannon and Marjorie Taylor Greene want to see the new Pope installed who will take Catholicism back to its roots, a more traditionalist approach to the faith. Pope Francis was very different.
If a person is gay and accepts the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge them?
Pope Francis was more interested in the plight of migrants and the poor than traditional Catholic doctrine.
Certainly traditionalists thought he was making bold changes and they hated him for it.
JD Vance has become a bit of a poster boy for this thread of conservative Catholicism, and he's used his faith when talking about the Trump administration's hardline approach to immigration.
Vance is trying to cloak himself and, by extension, cloak Trump in Catholic teaching, and Francis was having none of it.
Pope Francis once said Donald Trump was not a Christian and called his immigration policies disgraceful. His position was super clear. Now certain forces see an opportunity to reclaim the Catholic Church for conservatives.
You, along with, I suspect, Donald Trump, would like to make the Vatican great again.
The rising part of the church in America would at least like to see a pope who is accessible to traditional teachings and gets the Catholic Church back on, an orthodox pattern.
They talk about wanting to stick to traditional rules around same-sex marriage and the role, or really the lack of a role, for women in the church.
People in the religious right, white evangelicals, and I would add traditionalist Catholics, see themselves as being victims in this multicultural society.
The conclave begins May 7, and while there are conservative contenders, Pope Francis appointed 80% of the cardinals who will vote for the next pope. So in a way, the math is against the more traditionalist faction. But then again, we all know how elections can swing.